friends, this is the math lesson for second grade. This is Unit 5, Lesson 6. We will be working on pages 241 and 242 today. For our lesson today, on page 241, it just wants us to get familiar with bar graphs. So we have two different types of bar graphs on this page. We have a horizontal bar graph, which is what we drew yesterday. And then we have a vertical bar graph, which is right down here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have a little conversation about this horizontal bar graph. So whenever I look at a bar graph, I always want to look at the title. So this one is called Coins in My Collection. And I have different coins from different places. I have some from the United States, from Canada, from Mexico, from Japan, and from India. And then I know that my horizontal bars are going across, which means that my numbers are on the bottom. So I know that if I look at my United States bar, that has 10. Canada, I have 4. Mexico, I have 8. Japan, I have 4. And India, I have 3. So just by looking at this graph, I know a lot of things. So I know that the United States, that the coins in my collection have the most from the United States, the fewest from India. I know that I have the same amount from Canada and Japan. I can find out how many coins total I have in this collection. I know I have 10 right there. I have 4 right there, 8 right there, 4 right there, and 3 right there. I can add up all these numbers to determine my total. I know I have 4 plus 4, which is 8. 8 plus 8, which is 16. So I have 10, 16, and I have 3. So I can add those up to get a total of 29 coins in my collection. I know that I need 2 more coins from Mexico to have the same as the United States. I know that if I add Canada and Japan together, I'll have the same as Mexico. So lots of things I can know by just looking at a graph, and lots of questions that I can answer. So let's take a look at now a vertical bar graph. So we haven't seen one of these before. This is a vertical bar graph. It looks a little different than a horizontal bar graph, mostly because instead of going side to side, our bars are going up. So we still have a title at the top. Like I said, the bars are going vertical, up and down. Instead of my words being on the side, my words are at the bottom. So for flowers in my garden, I have roses, daisies, violets, tulips, and lilies. And instead of my numbers being on the bottom, I have my numbers on the side. They still start at 0 and they go to 10. So just by looking at this graph, I know there are 7 roses, 4 daisies, 8 violets, 6 tulips, and 3 lilies. And again, I can say a lot of things I know about the flowers in my garden. I know I have the most violets. I know I have the fewest lilies. I know that if I add together my lilies and my daisies, I will have the same as roses. 3 plus 4 equals 7, which is the same as Rose's. I can count up how many total I have. I have 7 and 3, which is 10. 4 and 6, which is also 10. And then I have an 8. If I add these up, I get a total of 28 flowers in my garden. I know that if I add the 3 lowest ones, so if I add lilies, tulips, and daisies together, I will still have less than my 2 highest, which is 8 plus 7, 15. So I want you just to think, what kinds of questions can you answer about this graph? Your job is going to be, after you get done with this lesson, we're going to do the backside, is to submit 2 questions that you could ask about these graphs. So one about the coins and one about the flowers. I'm going to give you some sentence frames to help. If you would rather pause the video and submit these questions on Canvas right now, you may do that. But here are some sentence frames. How many blank, so how many coins or how many flowers are there all together? You're also going to have to answer your question, so choose wisely. How many more or fewer blank are there than blank? How many coins or flowers how many, actually, let's change that. Which coin or flower do I have the most of or fewer? Okay, those are some good ones. You can say which 2 coins or which 2 types of coins have the same amount, which 2 types of coins would need to equal another amount. So here are just some different sentence frames. These are probably the most common. So your job, again, you're going to ask the question and answer one question from this bar graph and one question from this bar graph. So what you'll do is you will either you're going to type out, that's probably the easiest. So how many blank are there all together? So how many coins are there all together? And then after, you would write your answer with your label. So there are, or you'd say like blank coins or blank flowers. Okay, so that is your job after this lesson, or you can pause the recorded lesson and do that now. When you are ready, turn the page. We are going to use this graph to write one comparison statement. Before we get to that comparison statement, we are going to take a look at what our graph is talking about. So we are talking about the awards that were earned by Hal, Jory, Kari, and Pat. We know that Hal earned the most with 9, Jory earned 4. Kari earned 2. And Pat earned 5. So Hal earned the most, Kari earned the least. So instead of writing a question, this time we are going to write a comparison statement. And we must use is greater than. So let's kind of get that started. So everyone's going to start with the number of. So go ahead and write the number of. And now you need to choose someone that has more than someone else. So basically, you cannot choose Kari, but you could choose anyone else besides Kari. I'm going to choose Hal, personally, because he has the most. So the number of Hal's awards. Now, it wanted us to use is greater than. So the number of Hal's awards is greater than the number of, and now you're going to fill in the second person. So you can choose, depending on who you chose up here, tells you who you can choose down here. I chose Hal because he had the most. So I know that he has more than Jory, he has more than Kari, he has more than Pat. So I can choose any of those people. I'm going to choose Kari. So I'm going to do Kari's awards, apostrophe S on Kari, and then the word awards. I'll give you a minute to finish writing that. All right, now what we are going to do, my friends, we are going to take this bar graph and we are going to turn it into a vertical bar graph. You are going to need 4 colors. Now, it might help if you use orange, blue, purple, and green. I already have orange, blue, purple, and green. Well, I have a red, so I'm just going to use my red as my orange, but I'm going to try and match the colors otherwise. If you need to pause the video to go get those colors, please do so. When you're ready, press play. So we know that when we have a vertical bar graph, our title still goes on top. So awards we earned, we're just copying it. And now I need to switch my names and my numbers. So my numbers are going to start from the bottom and go up. I always start with 0. So go ahead and write your numbers from 0 to 10. And when you're ready, you can copy the names. So I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. So Hal is my first. So I'm going to write Hal. Then I have Jory, Kari, and Pat. If you need another minute, go ahead and pause the video so you can keep writing. Now I'm going to take my crayon that I'm going to use for Hal. I know Hal has 9. Now, boys and girls, you are able to do this however you want. However, I'm going to show you what I like to do. I first like to draw my top line. So I know that Hal has 9. So I'm going to draw a little stopping line right there. Now, I actually like to draw my lines like this. It helps me. That one wasn't very straight at all. Be a little straighter. So you're going to draw a bar that goes up and down. So going from 0 all the way to 9. And then I'm going to color that in. Again, you can do it however you feel like you will be the best at it. I just like to do mine like that. And then when I turn it over, I have a relatively straight bar. Not my best work. And you don't want it to be too thick because there's going to need to be some space in between the bars. All right, then when you're ready, grab your next color for Jory. Jory has 4. So again, I'm going to line up, make my stopping line. This one I'm just going to draw going down because it's not as long. And I'm going to color that one in. And go ahead and keep on going until you are done. I always like to do the stopping line. That way I don't go too far. Because once you go too far in crayon, it's hard to go back. So there we go. Hal, Jory, Kari, and Pat. All right, my friends, that is it for our lesson. Don't forget that you do need to submit 2 questions and answers, one for coins and one for flowers. So you're going to ask the question, you can use these sentence frames, and then you're going to give me an answer with a label. Don't just give me a number. Don't just say 29. Don't just say 3. You're going to say 28 coins, 29 coins, 3 lilies, whatever it is. Write the question and then answer the question with a label. All right, my friends, that is it for today's lesson. Great job. We'll see you later.